Think of World War II, and what comes to mind? Huge battles, iconic leaders, and a world changed forever. But beneath the surface of the history we all know, there are stories so incredible, so heartbreaking, and so bizarre, they almost sound like fiction. Today, we're rediving deep into 10 mind-blowing facts about World War II that you probably never learned in school. Get ready, because this is a side of history you've never seen before. Let's start with the sheer scale of the conflict. When we talk about casualties in World War II, the numbers are staggering. But one nation's sacrifice stands above all others. The Soviet Union suffered the highest losses of any country, with estimates reaching over 21 million deaths. That's military and civilian combined. To put that into perspective, it's like wiping out the entire population of Florida today. This wasn't just battlefield losses. It was a result of brutal sieges, scorched earth policies, and the unimaginable conditions on the Eastern Front. The fight between Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union was a war of annihilation, a clash of ideologies fought with a ferocity that is hard for us to comprehend today. It's a sobering reminder of the immense human cost of the war. From the epic scale of nations, we zoom in to the most innocent victims. The Holocaust is a name synonymous with horror, but the fate of children during this dark period is particularly heart-wrenching. Around 1.5 million children were systematically murdered. Among them, over 1.2 million were Jewish children. Others were Romani, disabled, or Polish. They were targeted not for anything they had done, but simply for who they were. They were denied a future, denied a chance to grow up, to fall in love, to have families of their own. Looking at their faces in old photographs, you see the same hopes and dreams as any child today. Their story is a powerful, painful reminder of why we must never forget and always stand against hatred. Now, let's talk about a story of unbelievable endurance. The Siege of Leningrad, now St. Petersburg, was one of the longest and most destructive sieges in modern history. For 872 days, that's almost 2.5 years, the city was completely surrounded by German forces. The goal was to starve the city into submission. Food and fuel supplies were cut off. People were reduced to eating anything they could find: wallpaper paste, leather belts, even sawdust mixed with flour to make bread. The winter cold was merciless, and with no heat, thousands froze to death in their own homes. Despite the starvation, the constant shelling, and the immense suffering, the people of Leningrad never gave up. They held on with a resilience that is almost superhuman. The siege finally ended in January 1944, but it left a permanent scar on the city and its people. When we picture a World War II soldier, we usually think of a man. But on the Eastern Front, the image of a warrior was being completely redefined. The Soviet Union was unique in its widespread use of women in combat roles. We're not just talking about nurses or support staff, but frontline soldiers. Soviet women served as snipers, with some racking up hundreds of confirmed kills. They flew fighter planes and bombers, earning the terrifying nickname Night Witches from the Germans. They commanded tanks and fought in partisan units behind enemy lines. Women like Lyudmila Pavlichenko, the Lady Death Sniper, and Lydia Litviak, a legendary fighter ace, became heroes of the Soviet Union. They proved that courage and skill have no gender, shattering stereotypes on the battlefield. Now for a battle fought not with guns, but with brains. Deep in the English countryside, at a secret estate called Bletchley Park, a group of brilliant minds was working on a puzzle that would change the course of the war. They were trying to crack the German Enigma code. The Enigma machine was an incredibly complex encryption device used by the German military to send secret messages. Cracking it seemed impossible, but a team led by the genius mathematician Alan Turing did the impossible. They built a machine called the bomb, a forerunner to modern computers which could test thousands of possible Enigma settings. By breaking the code, the Allies could read Germany's most secret communications, giving them a massive strategic advantage. It's estimated that the work at Bletchley Park shortened the war by at least 2 years, saving countless lives. Here's one of my favorite stories. It sounds like something straight out of a Hollywood movie. Imagine an army that could appear one day and vanish the next. That was the Ghost Army. The U.S. 23rd Headquarters Special Troops was a top-secret unit filled with artists, designers, and sound engineers. Their mission? to deceive the German army. They used a wild array of tricks, like inflatable rubber tanks, trucks blasting the sounds of troop movements from giant speakers, and fake radio chatter. They could create the illusion of a massive army where there was none, drawing German forces away from real Allied invasion points, like before the D-Day landings. It was a brilliant combination of military strategy and creative stagecraft. This phantom force of about 1,100 men impersonated units over 30 times their size, saving thousands of lives through pure deception. From illusion, we turn to a terrifying reality. In the final year of the war in the Pacific, the world witnessed a new and desperate form of attack: the kamikaze. Japanese pilots, in planes packed with explosives, would deliberately crash into Allied warships. The word kamikaze means divine wind, and these pilots were seen as sacrificing themselves for their emperor and their nation. For Allied sailors, it was a terrifying threat that came screaming out of the sky. These suicide attacks were devastatingly effective, sinking over 30 ships and damaging hundreds more. It was a tactic born of desperation, as Japan's military situation grew more and more hopeless. The kamikaze missions remain one of the most controversial and chilling aspects of the Pacific War, a testament to the extremes of wartime ideology. The war in the Pacific, and World War II itself, came to a sudden and world-altering end in August 1945. The United States unleashed a weapon of unprecedented power, the atomic bomb. On August 6th, a bomb nicknamed Little Boy was dropped on the city of Hiroshima. 3 days later, Fat Man was dropped on Nagasaki. In an instant, these cities were obliterated. The fireball, the shockwave, and the radiation that followed caused unimaginable destruction and death. The bombings forced Japan's surrender, officially ending the war. But they also opened a new and frightening chapter in human history, the nuclear age. The decision to use the bombs is still debated to this day, a profound moral and ethical question that weighs on the conscience of the world. While the world was reeling from the war's end, another battle was just beginning: the hunt for treasure. During their reign, the Nazis had systematically looted Europe. They stole thousands of priceless works of art, gold, and other treasures from museums and private collections, especially from Jewish families. This was a cultural plundering on an industrial scale. Hitler planned to build a massive foreign museum in his hometown to display the stolen masterpieces. When the war ended, Allied units like the Monuments Men raced against time to find and recover the stolen heritage, hidden away in salt mines, castles, and secret bunkers. Even today, many of these looted treasures are still missing, sparking international art mysteries and legal battles that continue to this day. It's a real-life treasure hunt born from the greed of a fallen empire. Finally, after the guns fell silent, the world demanded justice. But how do you prosecute a crime as vast as a world war? The answer came in the form of the Nuremberg trials. For the first time in history, high-ranking leaders of a nation were put on trial by an international tribunal for war crimes, crimes against humanity, and waging a war of aggression. From 1945 to 1946, top Nazi officials faced their accusers in a courtroom. The trials were groundbreaking, establishing the principle that individuals, no matter how powerful, can be held accountable for their actions during wartime. It laid the foundation for modern international law, including the creation of the International Criminal Court. The Nuremberg trials sent a powerful message to the world: I was just following orders is not an excuse. And there you have it, 10 incredible stories that revealed just how complex and multifaceted World War II truly was. From the mind-bending scale of loss to the genius of code breakers and the audacity of a phantom army, these facts show us that history is never as simple as it seems. It's filled with heroism, tragedy, and unbelievable twists. Which of these facts surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the hidden corners of history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss our next video. See you next time.